On the Red Thread Promises website, you'll find these words: hope matters, especially to those who need it most. As Christians, our hope is built, as the hymn says, on nothing less than Jesus' blood and righteousness. As followers of Christ, we are called to bring hope to others. Living out our lives in the light of God's love brings meaning to the story of our lives. It is those stories of hope, shared with one another, that help bind us together as a congregation of believers. Our stories begin and end with Jesus. They are a part of God's story. Our stories matter to God and to one another. Thanks be to God. And today, this is our story to share with you. It's April, and just days before we're to leave on the Jacob's Fund mission trip to McKenna Farms in Georgia. We're meeting to go over some practical details and to introduce mission trips to those who are making their first sojourn. After a quick rundown of the basics, where we're going, what we plan to do while we're there, eating and sleeping arrangements, I open the meeting up to questions. When hands start going up like critters in a whack-a-mole game, I realize that much of what a mission trip is about can't be described or predicted. Each trip is different, and team members will bring home a kaleidoscope of new experiences. What I do know is this: mission trips offer hard work, sweat, getting dirty, and makeshift accommodations. Flexibility is absolutely essential in everything. Add in 8 middle schoolers, some of whom have never been as far from home as this weekend will take them. As I look around the crowded conference table at new young faces and wise, experienced ones, I think, they'll be perfect. Thursday. Our advanced team, Wilma Thompson, Rhonda Kreider, and myself, leave early Thursday morning. We want to look over the job sites for the work we'll do, get supplies in, and on Friday, accomplish as much as we can before the heart of our team, our youth, arrives on Friday night. It's a beautiful day for the drive down, but there is a looming uncertainty about the weather for the weekend. Rain this weekend seems almost certain. We arrive just as the last therapy appointments of the day are finished. We spend some time going over the weekend's plans with Jesse, the director of McKenna Farms. Most of our scheduled work is outdoors, so with the weather in mind, we quickly sketch out plans for inside work if we need to put our flexibility to the test. No matter which jobs we do, we'll need food, so we head into town to buy groceries for our team. Then we change out a therapy room, turning it into our bunkhouse for the weekend. Friday. Friday morning, we grab a quick breakfast and head outside. Surprise! Tony is here, ready to begin his weekly therapeutic riding session. He sees us and rides over. We've met and talked with this young man that Jacob's Fund has supported, and he recognizes us right away and stops to chat. 30 bales of pine straw await us at the edge of the parking lot. We begin spacing them alongside the farmhouse, pull on our gloves, and begin working. This morning's forecast puts the chance of rain tomorrow at 70%. Wilma declares that won't happen. Still, we're determined to get as much of that pine straw mulch down today as possible. But Cameron and Landon are here now. The last time we saw these twins, they were silent and avoided looking at anyone. Jacob's Fund has supported hippotherapy for these twins for a full year. Melissa, the boys' mom, greets me, excited to tell me about their progress.
Ride the ducky. Okay, we'll come down and ride. You can ride when Landon gets down. It'll be your turn after Landon. Say yay! Yay! Go, Landon, go! Say my turn. My turn. Good job. My turn. Now, brother's going to take a move. Cameron this last year has been downgraded from severe speech impairments to completely mild. He can communicate almost fluent with me at this point in time, like if something hurts or bothers him, or you know, just understanding concepts of now, later, right now. He's a social animal. He loves to play with other kids. Mama, he used to have nothing to do with him. You are a dinosaur. And Landon is talking a lot more. He, the other day, was playing with his cousins for a couple of hours. It's just so exciting to have a typical little boy on my hands now.
After visiting with the twins' mom, I returned to mulching. While I was at the playground, Wilma and Rhonda worked without ceasing, spreading pine straw. Rhonda's comment, "I never thought I'd be spreading this stuff as mulch that we used to rake up from under trees in the yard." As we break for lunch, Jessie and I pull out our cell phones, checking the weather again. The chance of rain tomorrow is down to 60%. Wilma just smiles. We've just polished off the last of our sandwiches when Candace and her mom pull into the parking lot for Candace's therapeutic writing session. You may have seen photos of Candace in some of the spectacular costumes her mom made for her for the Equestrian Special Olympics. Jacob's Fund is supporting Candace for a full year as well. While Candace saddles up and begins her hour in the outdoor arena, her mom and I talk.
Everything has changed. Her balance, her personality, her confidence has definitely increased. The biggest physical change is balance and strength.
When she first started, how long did it take her to adjust and get used to the idea of writing?
Probably, in her case, probably six or 8 months before she was really comfortable. She always loved it, but she wasn't real comfortable for the first year. About the time she got really comfortable is when we had to stop.
Is this the only place that she's ever?
This is it. She's ridden a trail ride once, which was what made me come back and ask them if they had anything available here, because I thought, oh, she loved it. I saw her get on a horse and saw her face and said, she's got to get back to riding.
Wilma often reminds me that there is a lot more to missions trips than hammers and nails. Our conversations with Tony, Melissa, Cameron, and Landon, and Candace and Dana reveal just how right she is. We can feel that silken red thread that connects us, humming with life in our conversations today. As evening falls and the quiet is broken only by the occasional whinny, my mind slips back to those times I watched Jacob ride Major while his therapist walked alongside them. I smile, seeing in my mind's eye Jacob riding backward, wearing what seems to be a very big helmet. As if unwilling to break the peace that blankets the farm, the first van carrying our fellow team members pulls into the parking lot almost soundlessly, followed in a matter of minutes by the second one. It's after midnight, and our youth have had a very long day. Soon they've inflated air mattresses and spread out sleeping bags, and are ready for bed. Don't worry about getting them up too early, I tell Brian. We'll need to be well rested. I check the weather forecast one more time. Down to 30%. Saturday. Bright, fresh faces gather on the patio. Brian's ready with devotions. 1 Corinthians 13, the passage on love. I never tire of this and am forever in need of reminding that love is patient, kind, never fails, and never ends. He's also given us a songbook, and we sing 3 songs before we break up into work teams and scatter out all over the farm. And we haven't even had breakfast yet. I'm passing out tools, directing wheelbarrows full of weeds to the dumpster, and recruiting help to get the gator started. The barn is a magnet. Of course it is. How can anyone not want to see, pet, feed, groom, and lead the horses to pasture? The slight cloud cover today makes it more comfortable for all-day work. I checked the hourly forecast. Looks like we are home free. No precipitation is expected until after dark. Wilma, you are the woman. Other volunteers have arrived, including a local ROTC crew and a young woman who has come on her own. She immediately becomes part of our weeding and mulching crew, spreading pine straw after Jana, wearing the weed killer backpack, douses the unruly vegetation. What mission trip would be complete without an encounter with wildlife? While we don't stumble into scorpions or tarantulas, as our red thread counterparts in Haiti have done, Georgia has its own zoological thrills, lizards and ants. "Look what I found," one of our young men says as he holds up a lovely green gecko for me to see. I share his delight. These little lizards are captivating. Since a visitor to the farm parked too close to a fence last week and a horse ate the front of her car, one of our crews is moving railroad ties to the staff parking lot, placing them a safe distance from the fence and from many hungry equines. Next, they begin what will be the hardest, longest job of the day. The indoor arena sits atop a hill, and drainage and erosion have been a problem. Most of the problems have been corrected, but 2 perforated plastic drain pipes that run from the arena to the pasture below have washed down. A few feet of pipe extend from the top of the hill, but most of it lies 30 or so feet below. Our mission? Dig 2 30-foot trenches, reattach the pipe, and bury it. I'm somewhat surprised and pleased to see that a rather large crew, both boys and girls, has gathered to help Brian and Ted with this project. This job isn't going to be easy. In our work at the Red Thread Promise, we're often asked to explain what hippotherapy is and how it works. Though we can speak to that in layman's terms, we hope to have a more complete answer. So after lunch, I asked Joyce, the lead therapist, to talk to me about hippotherapy and therapeutic riding. You've been here.
I have been here for 10 years as a volunteer and 9 years as a therapist.
Tell us about hippotherapy and what you do here at McKenna Farms with hippotherapy.
Okay. Hippotherapy is using the movement of a horse to accentuate the activities you're doing in your treatment session for a child. So you can put a child on the back of a horse and do all of these different movements, positions on the horse. You can move the horse in a variety of directions and ways, and it accentuates and enhances the development that the child is experiencing. It builds their strength and coordination in a way that you wouldn't be able to do on a swing or on a therapy ball. And the movement of the horse is so consistent and rhythmic that it really provides such strong input into the child's system, and it can even help their sensory organization.
Mission trips offer hard work, sweat, getting dirty, and makeshift accommodations. Flexibility is absolutely essential in everything. Ted meets me at the edge of the parking lot and announces that the drain pipe is in place and buried in the 2 trenches they've been digging for 6 hours. I check the time, after 4 p.m. The kids are tired. They've worked very hard. And Ted and I are responsible for dinner tonight. I'll prep and he'll grill. Our hungry crew quickly dispenses with 24 hamburgers and nearly 30 hot dogs, plus cookies and fruit. Ted has brought hand tools, and he's busily installing some great signage donated by a father of one of McKenna Farms' kids. Dusk is quickly moving toward darkness. Joyce has brought us her fire pit and some marshmallows. Some of our youth have brought the minis up from the pen, and they're exercising them in the grassy area near the gazebo. Oh, wait, now the horse is ahead of one of the young men, so perhaps it's the horses exercising teenagers. Brian, guitar in hand, sits on one of the picnic tables. Christian grabs a bucket from the barn, turns it upside down, and begins drumming. Their duet draws a crowd. Good music. At the fire pit, Joyce gives instructions on how to toast the perfect marshmallow without burning it. She has several eager pupils, and some even duplicate the golden toasted exterior and soft warm interior that literally melts in your mouth. I'd forgotten how good they were. Raindrops begin to fall. I smile at Wilma, our weather maker, sitting by the fire pit. The little chill brought on by the sprinkles of rain drives some team members inside. A group of teens gathers on the patio, talking with Brian. As I recall from my own youth, there's nothing like a full day in the outdoors and a quiet evening to bring out the big questions in life. Sunday. Before my eyes open, I hear Ted in the kitchen making his family recipe pancakes. In seconds, I'm dressed and following the delicious smell of pancakes on the griddle. It's raining. Hard. Brian lifts his eyebrows at me and asks, "What's our plan now?" No work. It would be impossible. We'd be mired in red Georgia clay mud. I hate leaving things undone, but I'm glad that we eluded the rain until now and thrilled with what our youth team has accomplished. From where I'm sitting, I have a view of the side in front of the barn, and a few feet away from it is the sign along the path that says it's the Jacob Beachy Sensory Trail. We would never have thought that sign would be there 6 years ago at this time. We'd be happy if, instead of the sign, we'd see Jacob emerging from the barn on a horse. But sometimes we don't get a choice. Jacob brought me here and made this part of my story, and I shared that story with others. Now it has become part of all our stories. When we look back over our lives, I think most of us will agree that there are moments, or an accumulation of moments, that have changed the paths of our lives and the narratives of our stories. Those moments may not have seemed pivotal at the time they occurred, but they made a difference. When our youth engage in mission, we don't set up moments like Paul's on the road to Damascus. Rather, we seek to enrich their lives by seeing how helping others makes a difference and lives out the gospel we teach. We hope to expand their stories. Our youth inspired me and the other adults on this trip. They proved to be unhesitatingly willing to do hard work and stick to the tasks until they were completed. They watched children of all ages come for hippotherapy and therapeutic riding and realized that the work being done there is important work and that their contribution that weekend mattered. When asked what they liked about the trip, they had a variety of answers: driving the gator, using the weed eater, staying in Georgia, hanging out with friends, getting to come on the trip, and even digging trenches. What's next? A couple of years ago, a group from the Dallas, Georgia area built a badly needed indoor arena next to the barn at McKenna Farms. When the building was completed, it quickly became apparent that there was no place for parents to watch their children undergoing treatment without the parents becoming a distraction. Christ Church's Missions has been considering how we can help make that happen. While we can't cover the $42,000 this project will cost, we hope to be part of a coalition of churches and other organizations to make the viewing room a reality. Now, you know that when it comes to missions, Wilma's tall boots are hard to fill, but that's just what we intend to do. Fill these boots and help give parents of disabled children a place to watch their children's hippotherapy and therapeutic riding and allow them the thrill of seeing their child's accomplishments.